Hello students, welcome back to our English class. This video is the continuation of the previous video. In the previous video we have seen lesson 2 part 1 explanation of page 22 to 24, and in this video we are going to look at part 2 of lesson 2 explanation of page 25 to 27. This video is about lesson 2 part 2 from page 25 to 27. So all of you take your English book along with your English note. I hope you all have done your homeworks. So much wasting time, let's move on to our lesson. Summary of part 1. What we have learned in the previous video, let's have a quick look of it. This is a novel written by Madangi Subramanian. So this is Madangi Subramanian, and we have seen a lot about her in the previous video. The name of the chapter is Dear Mrs. Naidu. In this extract we study about a class 6 girl writing a letter to Mrs. Sarojini Naidu, who is Indian freedom fighter and poet. In this letter she explains why she writes the letters and makes comparison of her with Sarojini Naidu. So students, I hope you knew the story. A 12-year-old girl whose name is Sarojini, and her Annie Miss, her teacher, asked her to write an assignment. It's about a letter, and she chose to write this letter to Mrs. Sarojini Naidu, and in that letter she explains why she writes the letter, and she made some comparison of her with Sarojini Naidu. We have seen about 6 comparisons. Now let's continue the lesson. Page number 25. Page number 25. So it's taking me some time so far. I have only read the part about your childhood, but that part makes me like you. So it is said by Sarojini, and she was writing a letter. So this is the continuation of the previous page, page number 25. The last para you can see here Sarojini is telling why she chose to write a letter to Mrs. Naidu, and why. It's because she had a chance to read a book about Mrs. Naidu, and that book was given by Vimala Madam. I hope you knew the name. And this Sarojini's mother, she is working in Vimala's Madam house. So how they were related, and the Vimala Madam gave the book to her mother, and her mother gave the book to this Sarojini, and the book is about Mrs. Sarojini Naidu. Okay. So Sarojini did not read the whole book because the book was written in difficult English, but Sarojini was really influenced by the childhood days of Mrs. Naidu, and she is saying here she likes her childhood part. She read the childhood part and it makes her to like more. Okay. So next paragraph. When you were my age or even younger. So what is her age? 12 years old. Mrs. Naidu, it seems like you stood up to parents and teachers and all the adults who don't understand anything at all but act like they do. Okay. So here also she is putting down the adults. Okay. பெரியவங்கள அவங்களுக்கு எதுவும் தெரியாட்டியும் தெரிகிற மாதிரி காட்டுவாங்க. அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கிற பெரியவங்களுக்கு கிட்ட நீங்கள் உங்கள் 12வது வயதிலேயே நீங்கள் அவங்கக்கிட்ட யூஸ்டு அப்போ அவங்கக்கிட்ட உயர்ந்து நின்று இருக்கிறீங்க. பிகாஸ் மிஸ்ஸஸ் நாய்டூஸ் இங்கிலீஷ் லாங்குவேஜ், ஓகே, ஷீ இஸ் வெரி குட் இன் ஸ்பீக்கிங் English. She could speak English fluently, so she could stand up to her parents. And why? Because she is having equal knowledge of them. Okay. For example, the book says that your parents wanted you to speak English instead of Bengali. It says you locked yourself in a room for a whole day because you disagreed with them. You didn't even come down for lunch. Okay, now she is remembering an incident from the book which she read about Sarojini Naidu, and it says we can see that Mrs. Sarojini Naidu was stubborn and she was little naughty too in her childhood. ஒரு வாட்டி அவங்க பேரண்ட்ஸ் வந்து மிஸ்ஸஸ் நாயுடு கிட்ட சொன்னாங்க, நீ இனிமேல் பெங்காலியில் பேசக்கூடாது, ஒன்லி இங்கிலீஷில் தான் பேசணும் அப்படின்னு சொன்னனால she was very stubborn. She got angry and she locked herself in a room. ஒரு ரூமுக்குள்ளே போய் அவங்கள சாத்திக்கிட்டு உள்ள உட்காந்துக்கிட்டாங்க. and she didn't even come down for lunch. லஞ்சுக்கு கூட அவங்க வரவே இல்லை. and this Sarojini says, I don't know if this is true, next para, or just a story, but if I had a house with more than one room, there are plenty of times I would have locked myself behind a closed door. Okay, so now this Sarojini says that she also has same feelings sometimes to lock herself in a room, but she is unable to do so. Why? Because their home has only one room. Okay, எனக்கும் நிறைய வாட்டி ரூமுக்குள்ளே போய் பூட்டணும்னு ஆசை, பட் எங்கள் வீட்டில் ஒரே ஒரு ரூம் தான் இருக்குது அப்படின்றா. நெக்ஸ்ட் பேரா, I guess that's why you seem like someone who understands kids like me. ஓகே, ஸோ இப்போ சொல்கிறேன், நான் நினைக்கிறேன் உங்களால் என்ன அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் பண்ணிக்க முடியும். Like maybe you wouldn't mind if I asked you questions and read detective stories and stayed at school late, so I didn't have to go to Vimala madam's house. Okay, so here she says that we can see she is writing in this letter in a very open manner, as if she is writing to her best friend. ஒரு பெஸ்ட் ஃப்ரெண்டு கிட்ட எழுதுகிற மாதிரி இது எழுதுகிறா. மிஸ்ஸஸ் நாயுடு, நீங்கள் என்னை அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் பண்ணிக்குவீங்க, நான் உங்ககிட்ட கொஸ்டின் கேட்டாலும் நீங்கள் அதை கஷ்டமாக நினைக்க மாட்டீங்க, அண்ட் டிடெக்டிவ் ஸ்டோரிஸ் ரீட் பண்ணுறதுக்கு அலோவ் பண்ணிடுவீங்க, நான் ஸ்கூல்லேருந்து லேட்டாக வந்தாலும் நீங்கள் கவலைப்பட மாட்டீங்க. ஓகே, ஸோ இன் அ ஃப்ரெண்ட்லி மேனர் ஷீ இஸ் just relating herself with her. Next para, and now I have completed my first assignment, which is to introduce myself to the person that I am writing to. To be completely honest, my brain and my heart feel exactly the same when I started. Okay, now she is completing her writing, and she says, I have completed my first assignment, and she is introducing herself. and தன்னை பற்றி நிறைய இந்த லெட்டரில் சரோஜினி நாயுடுக்கு தெரியப்படுத்தியிருக்கா. ஸோ வென் ஷீ ஸ்டார்ட் ஷி வாஸ் வெரி ஃப்ரெஷ் அண்ட் த சேம் ஃபீலிங் ஷீ இஸ் ஃபீலிங் நவ். ஸோ தேட்ஸ் ஆல், அண்ட் ஷீ இஸ் சேயிங் ஆல் த பெஸ்ட் Sarojini. And the last sentence, PS, that means postscriptum. This reminds me of something we do have in common. We have the same first name. Okay, so what is meant by PS, postscriptum? That means நம்ம ஒரு லெட்டர் நம்ம ஏதாவது எழுதிட்டு கடைசியில் நமக்கு ஏதாவது ஞாபகம் வரும், ஐயோ நம்ம இதில் இன்க்ளூட் பண்ணியிருக்கலாமே அப்படின்னு தோன்றத கடைசியில் இந்த குறிப்பு அப்படின்னு போட்டு எழுதுவாங்கள்ல, ஸோ அதுதான் போஸ்ட் ஸ்கிரிப்டம். ஸோ she forgot something after she was remembering and she was writing down. Okay, so postscriptum means it is an afterthought, thoughts occurring after the letter has been written and signed. Okay, so here she says, this reminds me of something we do have in common. We have the same first name. So after completing this, she was saying she just found something is common among them, that is both are having their first name as Sarojini. Okay, she has written many things on the letters and she found the difference between them. At last she found there is something is unique and something is unique and something is common among them, that is their name. Okay, got it? So students, hope you have understood the chapter well. If not, read the chapter one more time and watch the video so you will understand better. Got it? So here we will end up. Let's move on to our next page, page number 26. Read and answer. Choose the correct answers. First one, why had Sarojini's Amma allowed her to write to strangers? ஓகே, சரோஜினி அம்மா எதுக்கு ஒரு ஸ்ட்ரேஞ்சருக்கு எழுத அலோவ் பண்ணாங்க? இட் வாஸ் a school assignment. And the option, Sarojini had begged her amma to let her. Sarojini had not really asked her. So what is the answer? Why her mother allowed her to write to strangers? Because it was a school assignment. Next, how was Annie Miss different from other teachers? Annie Miss மற்ற டீச்சருக்கும் இந்த டீச்சருக்கு ஒரு டிஃப்ரென்ஸ் இருந்துச்சு, அது ஏன்? She said it was time for students to be serious about studies. She encouraged the students to ask questions. And the third option, she thought school shouldn't be about memorizing things. So the answer is third one. Miss Annie, she thought school shouldn't be about memorizing things. Next one. What inspired Sarojini to write to Mrs. Naidu? So எது வந்து அவள் எழுதுறதற்கு ஊக்குவிச்சது? She had read a book about Mrs. Naidu's childhood. She didn't have any other options. She had read an article about the Indian independence movement. So what is the correct answer? What inspired her to write? Yes, she had read a book about Mrs. Naidu's childhood. So here is the answers. Tick the answers. A, first one. B, third option. And for C, first one. So now all of you open your classwork. Let's start writing our classwork. Reference to context. So already you have written Tamil meaning, synonyms, antonyms and reference to context first question. So now here is the second one. This question is in your book page number 26 also. I'll read for you. I'm sorry if that was rude, but I have never written to a dead deceased person, past on historical person before, so I don't really know the polite way to say that you are dead it. Okay, so first question, who is writing these lines? Whom are the lines addressed to? Okay, இந்த line யார் எழுதுறா, யாருக்காக எழுதப்பட்டது? As we know, it was written by Sarojini, 12-year-old Sarojini, and it was written to Mrs. Naidu, Sarojini Naidu. Next one, what is the writer referring to when she says that was rude? Okay, so she's asking sorry and she says that was rude. Why she is saying that was rude? Here she was addressing that Sarojini Naidu was dead. Okay, so to address that she was dead, she was asking sorry and she says that was rude. Okay, next one, what can you say about the writer based on the way she has rewritten her words? Okay, she was striking down some of the words and she was rewriting it. Okay, so what shows it? Okay, அது அப்படி எழுதுறதுல என்ன தெரியுது அப்படின்னு கேட்டிருக்காங்க. So it's up to you, you have to write the answer. So let's see the answers. Who is writing these lines? Sarojini. Whom are the lines addressed to? Sarojini Naidu. What is the writer referring to when she says that was rude? To call someone being dead. ஒரு ஆள் செத்துட்டாங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்றது ரொம்ப ரூடான ஒரு விஷயம் அப்படின்னு நினைக்கிறா. What can you say about the writer based on the way she has rewritten her words? So I can say that the writer is innocent. So children, write the answer. Write it neatly, understand the question and after that write the answers. Okay. So first write the lines, then write the question and the answer. Okay, no need to write everything which on the screen. You can just skip A, B, C, that questions. So let's move on to next one. Next question, third one. I don't know if this is true or just a story, but if I had a house with more than one room, there are plenty of times I would have locked myself behind a closed door. So let's see the question. Which story is being referred to here? Okay, so Sarojini is writing this line, and why she is writing this line, what story is being referred there? Can you say the answer? Yes, Sarojini Naidu's parents asked her to speak in English instead of Bengali, so she got angry and she was locking herself in a room. So that was the incident referred here. Next one. What can we understand about Sarojini's life at home from this sentence? Okay, this question is about this 12-year-old Sarojini. அவளோட இந்த லைன்லேருந்து இந்த சரோஜினியோட வாழ்க்கை, அவளோட வீடு எப்படி இருக்குது அப்படின்னு உங்களுக்கு தெரியுது. Yes, we know that she lives in a small home with only one room. Let's write the answers. Which story is being referred to here? The story of a young Sarojini Naidu locking herself in a room because she disagreed with her parents. Her parents told her to speak only in English instead of Bengali, so she got so angry. Next one, what can we understand about Sarojini's life at home from this sentence? Okay, Sarojini's life at home was limited to one room where she stayed with her mother. Their house has only one room. So first question is about Sarojini Naidu, Mrs. Sarojini Naidu, and the second question is about 12-year-old Sarojini. Okay children, write down the answers very fast. This question is in our book, page number 27. I hope you all are writing. Don't keep your classwork note incomplete. Everything should be completed. Okay. Let's move on to question and answers. Next one. Answer the following. First one. Why does Sarojini say that she would not have been able to fight against the Britishers? Okay, write down in the class work. So why does Sarojini பிரிட்டிஷ்க்கு எதிராக என்னால் ஃபைட் பண்ண முடியாது அப்படின்னு இந்த 12-year-old சரோஜினி சொல்கிற, அது எதனால? Let's see the answers. Sarojini says that she would not have been able to fight against the Britishers because they had lot of spies and detectives. Okay, because they had lot of spies and detectives. ஸோ என்னால் ஃபைட் பண்ண முடியாது ஏன்னா பிரிட்டிஷ்காரங்க கிட்ட நிறைய ஸ்பைஸும் டிடெக்டிவ்ஸும் இருக்கிறாங்க. தட் வாஸ் த ஆன்சர். Let's move on to second question. Why had Sarojini Naidu locked herself in a room for a whole day? Why she had locked herself in a room for a whole day? Answer is, Sarojini Naidu locked herself in a room for a whole day because Her parents wanted her to speak English instead of Bengali. இங்கிலீஷுக்கு பதில் பெங்காலி பேசணும் அப்படின்னு சொன்னனால she got so angry and she was so stubborn, so she locked herself in a room for a whole day. Next one, what have you learned about Sarojini's view on adults? Okay, in the 12-year-old சரோஜினிக்கு adults பற்றி ஒரு view இருந்துச்சு, அது என்னது? Answer, Sarojini thinks of adults as people who do not like being asked questions. So adults means பெரியவங்க, வளர்ந்தவங்க. Okay, ஸோ பெரியவங்களுக்கு கொஸ்டின் கேட்குறது பிடிக்காது அப்படின்னு சரோஜினி திங்க் பண்ணியிருந்தா. ஸோ தீஸ் ஆர் த 3 questions. Write it down. So I'll read for you once again. All of you read with me. Why does Sarojini say that she would not have been able to fight against the Britishers? Children, read with me loudly. Read the answer. Sarojini says that she would not have been able to fight against the Britishers because they had lot of spies and detectives. They had lot of spies and detectives. Second one, why had Sarojini Naidu locked herself in a room for a whole day? So read the answers. Sarojini Naidu locked herself in a room for a whole day because her parents wanted her to speak English instead of Bengali. Her parents wanted her to speak English instead of Bengali. Okay, let's move on to next question. What have you learned about Sarojini's view of adults? Students, read with me the answer. Read the answers. Sarojini thinks of adults as people who do not like being asked questions. Write fast and write neatly. You should maintain your classwork neatly. When you study the spellings. Spellings are very important. Study with the spellings. So if you have finished, let's check our homeworks. Turn your note to your homework side. Answers for previous homework. Fill in the blanks. Sarojini's Amma does not allow her to speak to strangers. Annie Miss says she doesn't think school should be about dash things, memorizing things. Memorizing things and saying them back makes you a parrot, not a person. Sarojini thinks of adults as people who do not like being asked questions. So children, these are the answers for your previous homework. I have checked your homework. Most of you have written the right answer. So if anyone have made any mistake, just rub it and write the correct answers. And check your spellings also. And next one, synonyms. Rags, things of low quality and not worth anything. Spies, people who try to get secret information about another country. Conclude, bring or come to an end. Detective, investigator. So these are the answers for your homework. In the synonyms and the fill-ups, check your spellings. Okay, children. So check your answers. So if written, let's move on to today's homework. Today's homework, as usual, study the classwork. Okay, what are the classworks that you have written today? Reference to conduct and answer the following question. You have to study everything. Then complete the following. Antonyms, you have to write the opposites. Write it down this in your homework note. Against, opposite. Stranger, opposite. Agreed, opposite. Plenty, opposite. You have to write it down the answers. Next, find who said these words. You have to read the book and you have to find who said these words. First one, memorizing things and saying them back makes you a parrot, not a person. So who said these words? You have to write down the answers. I don't think I could write that many lines in any language. I don't think I could write that many lines in any language. Reading detective stories are useless rags. Who says these words? Who said these words? You are not allowed to speak to strangers. So here are their 4 questions. So you have to find the answers. If you have understood the chapter very well, without looking the book, you can say the answers. Got it? So write it down the answers. And you have 2 more questions. Answer the following. Why does Sarojini say that she would not have been able to fight against the Britishers? What have you learned about Sarojini's view of adults? So these are your homeworks. Write it down this in your homework note. After completing the homework, you have to click a photo of it and you have to send it through the WhatsApp with your name and your class. And the important thing is you are receiving the videos every day. So what are the videos you are receiving? You have to study it on that day itself. Got it? In English also study the classwork. It's very, very important. So that's all for today. And we will meet soon with next lesson in next video. Thank you, students. Stay home, stay safe.